Hey everyone, so in today's video we're going to be talking about one of the most common questions people seem to have when it comes to credit cards, and that's how can I raise the current limits on my existing credit cards to get higher credit limits, but also in the future when applying for new credit cards get higher limits on those cards as well. As well as a little bit later in the video towards the end, I'll also be sharing how I personally was able to go from only having about $2,000 in total available credit all the way up to having over $20,000 in available credit at this current moment, and how my credit score was able to boost up into the mid 700s along the way as well. First off, before we talk about how you can actually get higher credit limits, let's answer the question of why would you even want higher credit limits in the first place. And so like I had mentioned earlier, over the years with my total available credit rising, so has my credit score along the way. And that's simply due to something known as credit utilization. So 30% of your total credit score is going to be made up of something called the amounts owed section. And this is going to be calculated by your credit utilization. Then simply put, credit utilization is just calculated by taking the total available credit that you have across all your different accounts and subtracting the total balances and total amounts owed on those accounts, and then this gives you your credit utilization. Now, a lot of times you'll hear people recommend to keep your credit utilization below 30%. However, in my experience, I prefer to keep my credit utilization anywhere between 1% and 9% each month. Now, with keeping that credit utilization in the low single digit range, this is going to allow you to boost your score and give your score the best possible results when you're trying to get that higher credit score. And so taking me for an example, back when I only had a $2,000 total available credit limit, when I was spending $800 to $1,000 a month just on my normal expenses, that would give me a credit utilization of 50%. And this is something that would have harmful and negative effects on my credit score. Now, fast forward to today where I have a $25,000 total available credit limit across all my different accounts. If I was to spend that same $1,000 a month, my credit utilization is going to be much lower, in the single digit range, around 1 to 2% total utilization. And so yes, over the years my month-to-month spending has gone up, as it does with anybody else as you get older and you progress further into life and take on more expenses. However, because my credit limits have increased faster and increased more than my spending has gone up each month, I've managed to keep low credit utilization, and that has allowed me to boost my credit score up into the mid 700s. And now, with that being said, let's get into the steps that you can take to start boosting your credit limits. The first step you can do is going to be wait. Now, this process is going to require some patience along the way, because it's not going to take you years and years to boost your credit limits and things like that. However, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it is going to take somewhere around 6 to 12 months to actually do this. But if you stick with these steps that we talk about in this video, then you'll be on your way to getting overall higher credit limits. Now, if you were to just keep using your existing credit card that you have responsibly, paying it off on time and in full each month for the next 6 to 12 months, then a lot of times credit issuers actually take this information and they can see that you're a good, responsible user of that credit card. And a lot of times credit card companies will actually just give you automatic credit line increases, as well as whenever you get a promotion or a raise, or you make a job change where you're making more money and have more income on a monthly and yearly basis. Definitely make sure to keep your income up to date on all your different credit cards, because when credit issuers see that you have more money coming in, they're going to associate that with the fact that, okay, you're going to have higher expenses and you're going to be spending more money on your credit card. So they're going to give you that credit limit increase so you can not only use that credit card on a month-to-month basis, but they also are able to see that you have the money coming in to actually pay that back at the end of the month, and they're not taking risk when giving you that extra credit increase. And so now the second thing that you can do to increase your credit limits is going to be asking the credit card company for a credit limit increase. Now, with most credit card companies in today's age, a lot of the times you can actually just go online to your credit card account and sign in, and they'll typically have a section where you can request a credit line increase online, and this will be the simplest and most straightforward way to do that. However, if your credit card company does not have this for whatever reason, you can also call the number on the back of your credit card and speak to a representative directly. Now, two things that you want to make sure of before you request a credit credit limit increase is number one, making sure that you've had that credit card open for at least 6 months and showing responsible use of that credit card. Again, paying it off on time and in full each and every month. And this is simply just because a lot of the times if you've only had a credit card for 1 to 2 months and you go to request a credit line increase, a lot of the times the credit issuers don't have enough history with you and they haven't seen enough history of you using that credit card responsibly, and a lot of times that credit line increase will actually be denied due to that reason. So you want to make sure that you've had this credit card for at least 6 months, paying it off on time and in full each month, showing responsible history with that credit issuer. And the next thing that you're going to want to make sure you've done is, again, making sure your income is up to date. And that's because, like we mentioned earlier, if you've gotten any kind of raises, promotions, or made any job changes or anything where you're bringing in extra income on a monthly and yearly basis, you want to make sure that that's being shown to your credit card companies so that they can more easily approve you for that credit line increase. Now, for this step, one more thing you want to make sure of is knowing whether that credit card issuer is going to do a soft pull or a hard pull when you ask for the credit line increase. And the reason why this is important to know is because if they're only doing a soft pull, then that means they're just going to take a general little look at your credit and usually go just based off of experience with that credit issuer. And you're not going to have any negative results to your credit score asking for that increase. However, if there's going to be a hard pull on your credit, then this means that there's going to be a temporary drop in your credit score, usually by about 3 to 5 points. And that's simply just because that credit issuer is actually taking a look into your credit report and seeing what else is on there. And if you've been being responsible with your different types of credit, whether that's credit cards, loans, mortgages, anything like that. So that's the net. So that's something you definitely want to be aware of and know if they're going to do a soft pull or a hard pull. Now, the good news is if it is a hard pull, the results of a hard credit pull and a new hard inquiry only last a few months, and then your score will bounce back. And usually within 24 months or 2 years, that hard inquiry will completely fall off of your credit report. Now, for me personally, this is a step that I have never actually done. And that is simply because if I know there's going to be a new hard inquiry on my credit report from getting a credit line increase, then I would personally rather just open a new line of credit with a new credit card. Now, the reason I prefer to do it this way is simply because whenever you're opening a new line of credit and a new credit card, typically that line of credit that you're going to be given is going to be significantly higher than any credit limit increase that you would receive otherwise just asking for it. Second reason I prefer doing it this way is because when you open a new credit card, typically you're going to receive some kind of sign-on bonus or welcome offer for opening that credit card after you spend a certain amount of money within a certain period of time, which makes doing it this way more valuable to me personally. And lastly, the reason I prefer to do it this way is because when you open a new account, that's a new account that's being added to your credit report. That gives you another account that reports to your credit issuers and your credit bureaus, showing another account that you're actually managing responsibly, giving you more responsible use across all of your accounts. Now, all of that leads me into my third and final way to increase your credit limits. And that's going to be, like we talked about and we mentioned a little bit ago, opening a new credit card in a new line of credit. Now, for me, this has been my preferred method and the method that I have used over the past few years to not only boost my credit score up into the upper 700s, but it's also allowed me to go from having a $2,000 available credit to now having a little over $25,000 in total available credit spread across a few different credit card accounts. And the reason why I'm such a big fan of this method, and it's the method that I recommend, is because, like I said, when you open a new credit card, you're typically always going to be getting a higher credit limit than you would have gotten just by asking for a credit limit increase. And again, like we talked about, you'll be receiving some kind of welcome bonus or sign up offer. Now, if I was to take the Chase Sapphire Preferred as an example, which was one of the cards that I got last year, with this card, I was not only able to get around a $8,000 credit limit, which boosted my total available credit far more than I would have gotten by just asking for a credit line increase. I was also able to get a a 60,000 point welcome sign-on offer from Chase with this card. Now, typically that would give you about $600 in value to use for travel at 1 cent per point. However, with the Sapphire Preferred, you actually get 1.25 cents for every point when you're booking travel through the Chase travel portal. So by opening this card, not only was I able to boost my total available credit by about $8,000, I was also able to get enough points to use for $750 worth of travel through that Chase travel portal. And with those points, I was actually able to use them towards my DC trip that I'm planning later on in the summertime. So you can see by opening up a new account, not only was I able to add a new account to my credit report, and that's a credit card that's going to continue reporting to the credit bureaus each month, showing extra responsible use across a few different accounts. But I was able to get a far larger credit increase than I would have gotten by just asking for a credit limit increase on one of my other credit cards. And because of that sign-on bonus and welcome offer, I was able to get $750 of value out of those points that I received back. Now, it is important to mention that yes, this card does have a $95 annual fee. However, the value that I was able to get out of it and the value that this card still gives me to this day, for me, I was able to easily justify that $95 annual fee, and to me, it was worth it. Now, everyone's circumstances and everyone's situation is different and unique to that person. So with getting any credit card, especially those with any type of annual fee, I always want to recommend that you take a look at the credit card and you weigh out the pros and cons of that credit card, and you make sure that you can justify the value you're getting out of that credit card to not only apply for it, but make sure you're getting enough value out of the credit card to justify the annual fee if that credit card you're looking at does come with an annual fee. And so as long as you follow these steps that we laid out in this video, you're practicing good credit card habits and you're paying off your credit card bills on time and in full each and every month, then a lot of the time credit card issuers are actually just going to see you as a valuable customer. And a lot of times credit card issuers are just going to automatically boost your credit lines and give you higher limits over time. And they're not going to want to lose you to one of their other competitors just because they're not giving you credit limit increases. So a lot of times, as a byproduct to everything else we talked about, those credit card issuers are just going to automatically increase your credit lines over time to keep you as a happy, satisfied customer and to get you to continue to give that credit card company your business. And naturally, as time goes on and you progress in life, your credit limits are not only going to get higher across your existing accounts. A lot of times as you apply for new credit cards, especially those that are a little bit more on the premium side of things with the premium travel cards and things like that, then you're just automatically going to get higher credit card limits. And now I hope this video was informative to you and you were able to gain some value and information that you can take from it and apply to your own personal credit card strategy. And if you did find it informative, make sure to drop a like down below, as it helps me out a tremendous amount. And while you're down there, if you're interested in more videos just like this one where I cover personal credit and finance tips, then definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new upload. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video, and I hope each and every one of you have a fantastic rest of your day.